Good morning, children. In today's class, we are going to deal with the second lesson, and we are going to read with the following topics: graphical representation of motion along a straight line, the distance time graph for uniform motion, the distance time graph for non-uniform motion, velocity time graph. We are going to derive the equations of motion, motion of freely falling body, uniform circular motion, centripetal acceleration and centripetal force. And last topic is going to be centrifugal force. And during the previous session, we studied few definitions. Speed is equal to distance traveled by time taken. Velocity can be given by rate of change of displacement. Acceleration is the change in velocity by time taken. And we studied about the different types of motion: linear motion, motion along a straight line. Circular motion is motion along a circular path. Uniform motion, an object is said to be in uniform motion if it covers equal distance in equal intervals of time. Now we are going to study about the graphical representation of motion along a straight line. Now you can see on the screen the tabular column where you got with the time and distance. For every 5 minutes, the distance covered by a car is given, and we are going to draw the graph by taking time along the x-axis and distance along y-axis. The graph is known as distance time graph. The x-axis we are going to mark 1 centimeter is equal to 5 minutes, and y-axis we are going to take 1 centimeter is equal to 500 meter. Now we are going to plot the graph from the tabular column. First one is going to be 0, 0. And next one is 0, 500, 10,000, 15,500, and 20, 2,000. And for 25, the tabular column you have to correct it as 2,500. When you join the points, you will get a straight line. The person covers equal distance in equal intervals of time. From the data, it is possible for us to calculate the speed. So already we have studied the definitions for speed is distance covered by time taken. Now the distance covered by time taken may be given as the slope of the straight line. When you see along with the graph, we mark by a small triangle ABC. From that we are going to take the slope. Slope may be given by BC by AC, which is equal to 500 by 5, which is equal to 100 meter per minute. To calculate the slope, we can take any point on the straight line, and we have to take the corresponding distance and time. And with the next graph, you will see we have drawn the graph by taking time and the x-axis and distance along with the y-axis. When you walk, the distance covered by the person will be very less, or the speed by which the person is going to walk is going to be very less. But when you compare with cycling by cycle, when you travel, the distance covered may be more, but the speed is going to be more when compared with the tough walking. When you go along with the car, the distance covered by the car in a particular time is going to be greater when you compare with either by cycling or by walk. So the speed is going to depend on with the distance traveled by it. And next we'll go with the non-uniform motion. We're going to plot the graph. On your screen you can see the tabular column, which shows the distance traveled by a car in an interval of 2 seconds. The time is given for every 2 seconds and the distance covered. Now we are going to take the time along the x-axis and the distance along the y-axis. When you join the points, we get a curve. The graph shows the non-linear variation of distance traveled by a car with time. With the previous case, we got with the straight line. This case, we are not going to get with the straight line. This shows that the car is moving with the non-uniform speed. When you take the slope between any 2 points, as we calculated in the previous case, the slope value will not be found to be constant. Now, we are going to draw the graph with velocity time. Time is taken along the x-axis. velocity is taken along the y-axis. Now we are going to imagine the object is going to move with the speed 40 kilometers per hour for the first 1 hour, 40 kilometer, second 1 hour, it is 40 kilometer, third 1 hour also 40, and fourth 1 hour also 40 kilometer. When you join the points, we get a line which is going to be parallel to the x-axis. The area under the velocity time graph is equal to the displacement. So displacement by definition it can be given by velocity into time, which may be equal to AC into CD. AC and CD will become the two sides of the rectangle. So it becomes length and breadth, so which can be given as the area of the rectangle, which is represented along with the blue color part. Now, the column shows that the velocity of the car with every 5 seconds. When you subtract one from the other, we get with the slope. Now we can plot the graph for uniformly accelerated motion by plotting the time graph along with the tabular column. Time and velocity of the car is given for every 5 seconds. We are going to note the reading from the speedometer of the car. When you draw the graph by taking the time along the x-axis and the velocity along the y-axis, mark the point for each set of reading, and we get with the straight line. That straight line goes along with the origin. Since we know that the velocity and time, it is possible for us to calculate the distance. So consider 2 points such as A and B on the straight line and draw the perpendiculars to the x-axis. Since the magnitude of the velocity of the car is changing due to the acceleration, the distance traveled by the car is the area A, B, C, D, E of the straight line. So the distance may be given by the area AB, C, D, E. That ABCDE is consists of 2 regular shapes, which may be area of the rectangle, that is ABCD, plus area of the triangle ABE. So area of the rectangle can be given as the length into breadth, which may be AB into BC, plus area of the triangle, we know it is half BH, so it becomes half AD into BE. The area of the quadrangle ADCDE can be given as a trapezium also. In the case, when you consider along with the trapezium, the area of the trapezium may be given by half into sum of the length of parallel sides into the distance between the parallel sides. That is half into 2 parallel sides are going to be AB as well as CE into BC. So in this case, non-uniformly accelerated. Next one, you can see the non-uniformly accelerated motion. It is possible for us to draw the graph, but it will be a zigzag form. That is, it will not get along with the straight line because the time and velocity is going to be changing. And next one will go along with the equations of motion. Now we are going to derive the equations of motion using the graphical method. Let us draw the graph by taking the time along the x-axis and velocity along the y-axis. The object starts from the point D in the graph with the initial velocity u. Since the object is moving with uniform acceleration, its velocity keeps on increasing. It reaches the point B after the time t. Now the initial velocity of the object is u, which may be given by OD and AE. And the final velocity of the object is V is equal to OC as well as which is equal to EB. And the time is going to be T, which is equal to OE. Another one is going to be with AD, which is going to be parallel to it. Then AB is equal to CD. To get the first equation of motion, we are going to get from the definition of acceleration. The acceleration may be given by rate of change of velocity. So A is equal to change in velocity by time. So change in velocity may be calculated by taking final velocity minus initial velocity by time. The final velocity may be given by OC and the initial velocity is given by OD and the time is going to be given by OE. So final velocity, OC minus OD from the diagram, from the graph, when you see OC minus OD may be given by DC divided by OE. Then OE we know already it is going to be T. So A is equal to DC by T, or DC is equal to AT, which may be equal to AB also. So from the graph you get EA is equal to, EB is equal to EA plus AB. It's equal to V plus U. V is equal to U plus AT. This is supposed to be called as a first equation of motion. Now we'll calculate the second equation of motion. In that we are going to calculate the distance. So let us calculate the distance. The distance covered by an object during the time t is the area of the quadrangle ADOEB. DOEB. So that DOEB quadrangle is made up of two regular shape, which is supposed to be a rectangle as well as a triangle, which may be given by area of the rectangle ODAE plus area of the triangle DAB. So already we know area of the rectangle is AE into OE plus half. Area of the rectangle is going to be half DA into AB, which may be given by S is equal to UT plus half AT into T, where you will get S is equal to UT plus half AT square. This is the second equation of motion. Next, the distance covered by the object during the time T can be calculated by considering the area of the trapezium. The area of the trapezium DOEB is equal to half into sum of the length of the parallel sides into the distance between the parallel sides, which may be equal to half into OD plus BE into OE is equal to half U plus V into T. Then we are going to replace T from the first acceleration equation, where A is equal to V minus U by T. So T can be given by V minus U by A. So S is equal to half V plus U into V minus U by A. So this is in the form A plus B into A minus B, which can be given as A square minus B square. So we'll get B square minus U square by 2A. Cross multiplying, we'll get 2AS is equal to V square minus U square, where V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. This is the third equation of motion. Next up, we'll take the stone and a piece of chalk. Both will be coming to the surface at the same time. And the experiment we can try by taking the two objects. One is going to be leaf and another one is going to be stone. Drop both the objects from the same height. We can find stone will reach the ground first than the leaf. This experiment we can try and find out. And now you can take two sheets of paper, drop them. The sheets of paper will take the same time to reach the ground. Now crush one of the paper into a bowl. Another one is going to be a plain sheet. Drop both of them. Now you can find the paper which is crushed into bowl will come to the ground first, and the sheet of paper reaches later, although they have the same mass. When the objects are dropped in the absence of air, all the objects in air will reach the ground at the same time. The objects will experience acceleration when they come down. But this acceleration is independent of mass. Whatever may be the size of the object, they will fall at the same rate in vacuum. Since the objects are coming down, they are acted upon by a gravitational force, where the initial velocity u is equal to 0, and the acceleration due to gravity a is replaced by g. So we get when it is coming down, g should be given as positive sign. So we'll get b is equal to gt, s is equal to half gt square, and v square is equal to 2gs. Now you can see on the screen where two different objects are dropped from the same height. You can see the objects reaching the ground at the same time. Now watch The objects are coming down. Although they are different in size, they are coming to the ground at the same time. When you draw the graph between the displacement and time, both the objects will undergo the same displacement at the same interval of time. Next graph, you can see the graph between the velocity and time. Both the objects will have the same velocity at the same time, irrespective of the shape of the object. When you throw the ball up, the ball will move in the upward direction for some time, then it will be coming down. As the ball moves up with the initial velocity, will become zero, where the ball will the ball will be under the acceleration due to gravity. For this case, we can get the equation of motion by replacing the ball, replacing A by minus G as the object is moving up. When the object is moving up against the acceleration due to gravity, so GA should be taken as minus G. Now take a piece of thread and a small piece of stone and you rotate it. It moves along the circular path with constant speed. When you release the thread, the stone will move along the tangential direction. When an object is moving with the constant speed along the circular path, the velocity changes. Due to the direction, it is an accelerated motion. Examples are supposed to be the revolution of Earth around the Sun, revolution of the Moon around the Sun, and second's hand. Since the object is moving along with the circular path, now you can see the diagram picture where the object is moving along with the circular path. Since the object is moving in the circular path, where R is the radius, and the time taken to come back to the starting point is supposed to be capital T. Then you can calculate the velocity with which the object is moving. Then the velocity is the rate of change of displacement. So velocity is equal to displacement by time. Here the displacement will be as it travels a circular path, it may be the circumference of the circle. The circumference by time. Circumference of the circle may be given by 2 pi r, where r is the radius. So velocity v is equal to 2 pi r by capital T. When the object is undergoing the accelerated motion, the acceleration must be along the string, which may be directed inwards, which with help of which the stone is moving along with the circular path. When the object is moving along with the circular path, this acceleration is called as a centripetal acceleration. You can see along with the diagram. The ball is represented along with the blue color. As it moves along with the particular circular path, the tangential velocity is going to be acted. Tangent means just touching the point at touching the circle at one point alone. As it moves, the acceleration, the body is going to produce an acceleration which may be acting along with the radius vector. This is supposed to be called as a centripetal acceleration. The force acting along the string is called centripetal force. Both centripetal acceleration and centripetal force will be acting towards the center. You can see along with the diagram that AC as well as FC are acting towards the center. Let us consider the mass of the stone as m, which moves with the along the circular path of radius r with the velocity v. Then the centripetal acceleration A is equal to v square by r. Then centripetal force is given by Newton's second law, where F is equal to m into A, where A is going to be a centripetal acceleration. Just now we got the expression there, v square by r. So F is equal to m v square by r. Next one is going to be the centrifugal force. When you rotate the thread which is tied along with the stone will move along the circular path. At the same time, the hand will also experience a pull. The pulling force is given, the pulling force is going to act from your hand towards the stone. That is, it acts away from the center. The force acting on the body away from the center of circular path is called centrifugal force. The direction of centrifugal force is opposite to the centripetal force. The previous diagram we said FC, centripetal force, is going to act towards the center. So centrifugal force will be acting from the center towards the object. The direction of centrifugal force is opposite to the centripetal force. The example for centrifugal force is dryer in a washing machine. With this, we'll conclude today's class. And we're going to complete with the second lesson. During the next session, we'll start with the third lesson. Thank you, children.